the last drunk guy that like actually fell in the ditch. He went.
Right.
He was an actual mix of, I think, Bozo the Clown and Popeye. Like he had,
Wow.
like he had one eye, like super squinty, and he looks like he'd been in a lot of fights. Like you knew he was from like Six Brothers and like fought his whole life.
Right.
But his hair, like he was bald on top and had like red hair, just kind of long and curly out the side, and
Just a shock of red out either side. Nice.
yeah.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to grow up in the 80s? NES sitcoms and where's the beef ladies? Then you need to listen in your car or at work. Now it's time for Keith is a Jerk.
Let's not talk about the clap box.
Who the fuck cares? I'm not editing this.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Keith is a Jerk. What are we talking about today? We couldn't really lock this down. I think we're just going to call it summertime, right? We got summertime coming up now, so I think we're going to do an episode on our childhood summer. Is that the idea?
Sure,
Or
yeah.
something, yeah. Like, talk
Let's
about
do
what makes you happy in summer.
Oh my God. Okay, fantastic. Well, I'll be honest. Sometimes, you know, I try to figure out a way to segue into things. I don't want to. Derek, please tell your rabbit story.
Oh, Jesus, you want to start with this?
I know this fucking story and I love it. Please just, I know it happened in the summer, so please start with the rabbit story.
Where do I start? All right, well, it was summertime. It probably starts the summer before. I helped my parents make like a little garden in the backyard. So I moved all this dirt from this one section, dug out a garden, and moved all the dirt to just a corner of the fence. Cut to the next year, we needed to do something else in that corner where I put all that dirt, because of course I just left it there. I wasn't hauling that anywhere else. I just put it all in the corner, and I'll worry about that later. I forget if we just needed, my mom just wanted that pile moved, or if we were putting something in that corner now. So I go to start filling the wheelbarrow with it, and I hit the shovel in, start putting it all in the wheelbarrow. All of a sudden I just put the shovel in. You know the sound? You know the sound a shovel makes when you hit a stone, like a really big stone? Like,
Of course. My whole day was spent digging holes today.
yeah, well, if you recall, I put that pile there the year before, and there was no stones in this. So I'm like, what the hell is that noise? So I just kind of wiggle my shovel a bit more, and I push it harder.
Oh, no.
That's weird. So I flipped the dirt over.
Weird?
It's weird that the dirt is screaming.
Yeah, I don't remember it screaming when I put it there. That's odd.
Oh, no. I've buried my face in my hands right now.
So I flipped this pile of dirt over, and I see all this movement happening. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, what's that? And there's at least 4 or 5 baby rabbits. And one of them, yeah, these are just very fresh babies.
Oh my God.
And one of them is still making that noise, that scraping rock noise. And I look, and his head is ballooned.
Sorry, did you just call a rabbit's shriek the scraping rock noise?
Yeah, you know that's what the sound it was making when you scrape a shovel along a rock, like that screech.
Oh, okay. I thought you were implying that was the sound a rock also makes. I was like, this really fucked you up.
It does. It haunts me to this day. So like a shovel scraping on a rock, you know that screeching sound?
Yeah, we got
It
it.
was still making
We're
that.
right there.
And the head of this one rabbit was just engorged, like it's just growing and growing in front of my eyes.
Oh my God.
Because apparently I don't want to relive this. Why are you making me go through this again?
Purely for my entertainment.
So this one rabbit, I must have just hit it square in the head, and his head is now just filling like a water balloon right now. I'm like, oh my God.
I can't do this.
Should we stop? This is why I didn't want to start with this.
I'll just take my headphones off for a bit.
That's the thing. I'm not laughing at. I want to be very clear. I've heard these stories where I'm not laughing at these poor rabbits. I'm just laughing because if you know Derek,
I'm laughing
how
at
traumatic
Bob.
this is.
I'm laughing at Bob, and I can hear Derek's drink clinking glass.
It's true.
You got to understand. I had a bit of a rough afternoon, so like right now my day is just starting to turn around. So Bob, if you need to take a $5, I'll text you. But I'm living in the fact that you need to take a $5.
Oh my God! Honestly, I am
so
the
great.
worst.
Okay, keep
with
going,
this
keep going.
stuff.
It's not done. That's the best.
Okay, Bob. Yeah, you got to suck it up or get off. Like
Yeah,
I'll text you when we're done.
I have one like only my left ear on, like so I can get out of it if I have to.
You're like a child.
Okay, text me if you. Text me if you have to bail, but then know that I'm going to just love it. All right, go ahead, Derek.
I want to run away from this story too. I should start this by saying I am an animal lover.
Of course.
Sounds like it,
in case my story didn't start like that. I know it doesn't sound like that, but that's the case.
All I'm hearing is the sound of a shovel on a rock bed. All right, carry on.
Stop it. So as I mentioned, I'm an early teen, so I don't have a lot of life-saving skills at this point.
Sure, of course.
So I'm like, what do I do? I just go and get my parents. I'm like, it won't stop making this noise.
Oh my God.
We gotta put it out of its misery.
Tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt.
Jesus Christ.
Bugs Bunny cartoons are forever ruined for Derek.
So we managed
Turns out Elmer Fudd just needed to move a little dirt.
rabbit season, always.
So, all right, I think where we left off really in the story is the rabbit's head was ballooning into a water balloon style. All right, okay, carry on.
I hadn't heard that part before. That's even worse.
That'll affect you. That'll
brutal.
get to you.
Yeah,
I think sure will.
Do you also have a problem with water balloon fights?
Especially when people draw ears on them.
So fucking morbid.
Keep going.
So its head is now probably equal, if not larger, than its body now.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, this is terrifying.
Did
So
you put it out?
Oh my God, I hadn't even thought about Derek's Easter after this.
Oh my God.
Just a big old pile of Easter eggs as the head swells up in the back. I know what's going on.
Keep going. I'm sorry. This is crazy.
This is going to take forever. So I get my parents and I show them. I'm like, what do we do? So we get the two, or maybe it was three. I think it was three that were still fine, that they missed my carnage. So we kind of put them in a shoebox, and then my parents were like, well, we got to kind of put this one out of its suffering.
Right.
Like, oh, okay. I guess
She's
that's
not making you do it, is
on
it?
me then.
Oh no.
I'm starting to think now. I don't actually remember what happened to this rabbit. I may have blacked out or just blocked this from my memory, but I think I remember I had to give it a couple whacks.
Where's my horse and feather?
Jesus Christ.
Holy shit. So you had to hit it multiple times. Where's your dad in this?
Probably watching TV. So I think I don't honestly remember doing it, but I think I hit it like 2 or 3 times, and I think I was gentle at first because I felt so bad about what I did.
Oh my God.
Well,
Yeah.
that makes it much better. Yeah.
Thank you, Derek, for being so gentle. Now, if you wouldn't mind, sir,
I'd like to fucking die now.
I have blood coming out of my eyeballs.
Fuck.
First of all, fuck you guys. Second of all, it did have it come out of its eyeball.
Yes.
The other 3 we bring inside, and this is before the internet, so you can't just Google, what do I do with baby rabbits? So like, I don't know. They're pretty young. They probably want milk, so we...
Yeah, chop their fucking heads off.
Some of us had the idea that, we touched them, and their mother's never going to come back now.
Right.
Especially after it sees what I did to the other one.
Do you find they were more fond of your sister? Yeah.
So we I don't remember what we did. We had those droppers, like medicine dropper kind of things.
Yeah.
We had those, and we're just kind of giving them milk, and they started taking the milk. We're like, oh, awesome, this is going to work out. I think I got a carrot or something because I've seen cartoons, but they're too little to do anything with these cartoons.
Derek's chewing up the food and spitting it in the rabbit's mouth.
Thank you for this delicious cow's milk. It's so natural for us rabbits to drink the milk of cows.
Oh my God, I know what the 3 of us are being for Halloween at Derek's house next year.
The 4 rabbits.
Oh my God.
When do you wear a balloon on your head? The other 3 for like another 2 days or so, and then finally my mom's like, this isn't going to work out. We got to get rid of these things. So I think she looked in the phone book. Not the same way I got rid of the other one, but she looked in the phone book, and she found this sanctuary or whatever. She's just trying to help out.
Yeah.
Some of these aren't doing so well. The milk's not settling well in their tummies.
No shit.
So
No
we
shit.
get to the sanctuary. It's like an hour away. We drove all this way. My mom's just trying to appease us at this point. And we
I
get
know
to
who
this
wasn't
place,
in the
we're like,
front
"Oh, they're
seat.
gonna be
Your dad.
He's still at home watching TV. So we get to this place. We think they're going to be so grateful that we've brought them these rabbits that they can now save and everything. So we get there and they're like, "Oh, you didn't touch them, did you?" We're like, yeah. Like, "Oh, what else? We fed them milk." That's exactly what you're not supposed to be doing. Ugh.
That's not going to add to your trauma at all.
So the guy literally sighed. He was like, "Ugh." He takes them in the back room and then we just leave.
You just hear whack, whack. He hears the rock scraping sound in the back.
Like, oh, he's got rocks back there too.
Mommy, why is the man moving dirt in the back office?
So that's the last time I touched a shovel.
All right, we're going to hold off on part 2 because I know how part 2 goes as well.
Jesus Christ.
Let's move on to something else and then come back. So anybody else, who else has the next fun summertime story? Dave?
Because that was a fun one.
I loved in the summer. I had a dog.
You didn't murder any baby bunnies?
No, but I had a dog a couple years ago,
Okay.
and I really loved the dude. And then him and I used to do pack walks. So like there was we ended up having some people over to our house, and there's a big potluck, and we do burgers, we do beers, we do. Dion made a chili. My wife made a chili, and it was phenomenal. And I think I ate probably most.
I was really hoping you were going to say a rabbit stew. I'm not going to lie.
So
I'm still sweating for my story.
Yeah, I'm still sweating from your story.
So I think I ended up eating most of this chili anyway.
Sure.
And so the next day, I wake up and I'm like, I gotta take my guy out for a walk, and then it ends up inevitably all my friends are essentially hungover and don't want to go for a fucking walk. So I end up taking like 4 or 5 dogs out on this walk all by myself.
Okay.
And I realized, like, I've kind of started my day kind of in a hurry. I realized I didn't make a proper like I didn't have my proper routine, if you know what I mean.
We all knew where this story was going. When you start with, I ate nothing but chili and then had a morning coffee and went to a forest.
All right.
But please.
But so here's the deal. When you have the chili shits, they don't.
Oh, God.
They aren't the greatest kind of food to have naturally.
With beer on
when
top
you're
of that.
surrounded by 5 dogs in the forest and the kind of dancing you have to do to like get the fuck away. Nope, get out. Like, because they all start coming around. Like, no. So no. Like, they all listened to me. Luckily enough, I was a pretty good, but no, like, I could just see, like, well, what are you doing over there? That smells like chili. Anyway,
Oh my
it's fucking
God.
disgusting.
Did you have to wipe, or did they take care of that for you?
I did have to wipe. I had I'm trying to make a hurry. I'm like standing.
Please tell me you used one of the dogs, like the smaller ones.
No, I grabbed a couple big leaves that were about, I was going to say about 3 feet off the ground hanging from the tree. So I'm like, all right, broadleaf, I make sure I do a good job. And I realized that the entire forest seemed to condense every single bit of poison ivy on the 5 leaves that I used. And my ass and chode blew up.
Like a
Like a
rabbit
balloon.
with its head locked
Like a
off.
rabbit just got smacked in the fucking head. Like my ass blew up like like a bunny. And it looked like it was gonna pop. And I think Derek's mom looked at my chode and said, "Should I put it out of its misery?"
Leaves of 3, wipe not thee.
Anyway, so that's a good old. That's a nice little transition into summertime.
That's crazy. Oh my God! Nobody's gonna have fun stories. This is what our podcast has turned into. The one thing we said: no more talking about gross stuff. The gross stuff does not go over well. People don't like the gross stuff. We start with dead bunnies and poison ivy all over your asshole. Oh my God! Okay, well I'll follow it up by the time that my grandpa nearly killed our neighbor.
Oh, so this sounds better.
This one's kind of fun, but it was still silly. So new kid moves into the neighborhood.
Was your neighbor hiding in a dirt pile?
I wish. Well, in my neighborhood, everybody's kind of in a dirt pile. And so anyway, this kid moves in. He's new to the neighborhood. Just, you know, the way kids now, you know, back then, just everybody walks out onto the street and then you just start making new friends. The next day, he was just hanging out and I was like, hey, I'm going to go over to my grandpa's. Let's go see what he's doing because he lived close by. And so we get there, and my grandpa's like, oh, here, you guys can play with some of the games here. And he has horseshoes. He's got a horseshoe pit in the back, and then he brings out those lawn darts. You guys remember the old lawn darts?
Yeah.
Like the metal ones?
Yeah.
He said, no, these ones are kind of sharp. I want you guys to use the horseshoes. And then he goes to throw it up in the air to show us, like, what it looks like. And I don't know if he, like, hit his leg going up or what, but it goes up, and he didn't even have kind of the wherewithal there wasn't enough time to be like, whoa, get out of the way. I believe it sounded something like, oh, no, and then whack, right off the side of his head. So it didn't hit him in like the head, but it dug into kind of the back, and just like it went into the back. Like it was in the skin. So I fucking don't even remember. No, of the new neighbor kid.
Oh shit!
This little kid who's like I just met him. I don't even remember his name. Like this is just a kid that I'm hanging at. My grandpa threw it to show us how dangerous they are and why we can't play with these and we have to play with the horseshoes instead. And he shanks it and it zings into this kid's back. And so my grandpa, he's a cool, like strong, you know, tough dude, and he's like like not freaking out like, or you know, panicking like I would or anything nowadays. He's just like, oh, come here, and he's lifting up his back, and it looks exactly like you think it looks. It's not like in the bone, you know, like on your shoulder blade, like there's the skin there, right? So the skin is just pulled out about, you know, the inch. It's just wrapped around the metal that's inside.
Width or so.
Yeah, and surprisingly, almost no blood. You know what I mean? Like, it's just in there. Like, that part surprised me. I was like, oh, who knew? And anyway, tissue. That's right. And so, yeah, no, this kid was like a little skinny kid too. Anyway, so he's like, okay, we're going to pull it out on 3, okay? And the kid's just fucking losing it. So he doesn't even count and he just takes it out. So here's the difference between nowadays and back then. Nowadays, you'd have to take the kid to the hospital, you'd take him to, you know what I mean, you go to his parents, you call them, everybody's be freaking out, and, you know, there'd be like Facebook outrage and shit like that. My grandpa's like, all right, you know what, maybe you guys should just get going, I got a lot of shit to do here. And so, no bandage, no nothing, just sends the kid on his way. And I'm just like, okay, well, I guess, like, what do you want to go do now? And he's like, he's doing that. And I was just like, fuck, today's gonna. I was like, I can't even ask him his name now because now I forget. It's been too long. We've been through too much.
How old did you say you were?
I don't know, but like real young. Like I'm gonna guess 8 or 9
like
is my guess.
Like the kid's instinct is like, well, I want to go tell my mom I got a lawn dart in my back.
Yeah, I think so, but it was back then too. Like his parents just weren't home; they were at work, right? That's why he's sitting outside. Yeah, I remember he just had a big fucking hole in his back, and I don't know if he was nervous. Like I think he might have been too nervous to tell his parents, because I don't remember that getting fixed. You know what I mean? Like I remember
everybody was treating it like it was nothing.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, all the adults were like, you're okay. You know, like, I mean, look, my grandpa had been in the war, you know what I mean? So this was just like, yeah, it's a fucking lawn dart. Settle down. But he showed it off to everyone. Like, hey, look at this hole. And yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I didn't see much of that kid after that. I genuinely don't know if he died.
Well, you know what? His parents might have found out that he got a fucking lawn dart, and then one time he's allowed to hang out with the Gooper Kid.
Yeah, that was not an uncommon thing to hang out with me once. I legitimately had a friend, I won't say his name, when we were growing up, because he was kind of in the nicer neighborhood. He used to have to wear a hockey helmet when he played with us because we were too rough.
Not even hockey,
so it was like
just playing.
No, yeah, just playing, like just because we were like rough, you know what I mean? Like we would just wrestle and throw each other around and stuff. So he was always embarrassed. And so that kid would always like hide his helmet in like the bushes or whatever,
right?
And then constantly get his fucking and then constantly get hit in the fucking head. His mother was 100% correct.
You know what? We just did a lot of stupid shit trying to keep ourselves entertained. Like,
Yeah,
there was
that's all summer was.
There wasn't really, like, I mean, yeah, Nintendo was around, or NES, as the kids call it. But
Only the cool kids.
I remember being a kid, and my mom had a vegetable garden right next to the sandbox.
Okay.
We spent a ton of time in that sandbox.
Oh, don't talk about gardens.
But no time, but almost no time in the vegetable garden until this day. I had a friend over, and we decided it would be like a riot, a friggin' riot, to take the carrots that were planted in the vegetable garden. Yeah, you ready, D? And we would just,
hear them, Clarice?
and we would just chuck them in the air and see who could
Amazing.
throw them the highest.
This is the game my grandpa was playing.
Like organic lawn darts.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, we played a lot of lawn darts too.
It's only natural.
But I mean, like, this garden was probably, what, 8 by 8? You know what I mean? It wasn't a big garden. There couldn't have been that many carrots in it.
Sure.
But we sure found them all. We picked all of the carrots. And I mean, they were far from being ready to be picked. You know what I mean? All my mom's hard work
Right.
every day in the garden, weeding and everything
my
else.
God.
And everything.
Yeah, she's
and
not
we're
gonna be
just
happy.
chucking them up into the air and just having a blast. Like, it is the best thing we've ever thought of. You know what I mean?
Right.
Until my mother came out.
Yeah.
And wrath. Like, we would go and we were throwing them over the neighbor's fence and then going and getting them and throwing them back over into our yard.
Amazing. And how old are you at this time?
I don't know. Old enough
Young,
to
no,
know.
but old enough to know, but young enough to be
Yeah,
like,
and
this
I
is
don't
still
know
fun.
why, because I grew up, like, you know, wrath of my parents, like, just scared to death. But for one summer day, I was conscience free and I was just chucking carrots without a care in the world.
Fuck your carrots, Mom.
I was in the same kind of boat. I mean, summertime used to mean I'd get like sleepovers at my cousin's place, and you had a
for
pool.
sure.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I love growing up like that, Bobby. I hope my kids grow up that dumb, because my cousin and I remember there was one night where we were eating like chicken and mashed potatoes, and we thought it'd be amazing to like put
How
our
the
forks.
fuck do you remember? Oh, okay.
Because it involves our meal.
I was like, holy Christ, you were fat, man.
So
Like, you
we're-
remember all your summer meals.
So we were sitting about 10 feet away from the kitchen sink, and we thought it'd be an amazing idea to like try to like use our spoons as catapults.
Yeah.
And try
Right.
to like
Yeah.
shoot the
That
mash.
is an amazing idea.
Yeah.
You're right. Those are the right instincts.
So you're shooting the mashed potatoes into the sink, right? And we're laughing so hard, and we just keep hitting the spoons and like, yeah, like I think I got that one. And we literally cleared. We didn't eat a single ounce of those mashed potatoes until his mom came like around the corner. He's like, all right, guys, you ate all. You're like, what the fuck? And she looked up, and it's just a mountain of mashed potatoes hanging from the ceiling. Because
Oh
like
my
we were
God.
so young that we thought we were actually hitting him in the sink, but it was all across the ceiling. It was amazing.
She thinks you guys are doing something else in there. It's just like wild animals.
Amazing.
Good job, Keith. Don't talk about those two things, and you just brought it up.
Do you guys remember? And this is not a politically correct term whatsoever, but do you remember the? It's
always a great start.
Yeah, the Indian sunburn.
Oh,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
Why the fuck were kids do that?
I don't know, because it's horrible.
It was terrible. We would do
Yeah.
that all day long. We would choke each other out.
So Bob,
Yeah.
I don't know. You are the one excluded right now out of the three dads that are here. Do you still
Yeah.
engage the Indian sunbird every now and then, guys?
My kids came home with it.
Oh, really? See,
Yeah,
mine
they-
didn't know about it, because I remember asking about it when they were doing, like, I noogied them or whatever, right? Like, I don't, and I apologize now if that's some sort of variation of the terrible word. I genuinely do not know that thing's origins. I might be saying something horrific here. But I remember, like, I would do that, and then I think I'd mention, like, Indian sunbird, and they're like, we don't know what that is, so good.
Yeah, my
That's
kids
great.
came home and I don't think they called it. I don't remember what they called it, but they just came and they twisted my arm and like, let me show you something. I'm like, how do you know this? Is this just a generational thing? You just hand this
First
out at
Nations
school?
burn. Yeah, okay, let's do like a lightning round. I don't know if these are all worth like, I don't know. Some of them are good stories, but I'm so worried we're not going to get to everything. Like a big game for us. That's what I'm saying too. Like I think this is going to be like we got to do these a few because I don't want to really waste them. Like just off the top of my head, we used to play this game all the time called Chucking Rocks at Cars. And it's exactly what it is. Like, we did not leave anything to the imagination. We would go into one guy's backyard because there was a busy street behind it. And it started out with dirt bombs because, like Derek, there would just be piles of dirt all on the course. So you go and you pick up a bunch of dirt and you lob them over at these cars racing by because they're going like, 50, 60. So it would just off the windshield and we would laugh so hard as these cars are like screeching, down the road. And the best part about it is we're kids, so we're fucking lightning fast. Horrible! We were the worst. Awesome. Well, that's what I'm saying. It started as dirt bombs, but I only know this game as let's throw rocks at cars because that's what it turned into. So I'll just do this one. So the best part about the game was, these are all dads that are getting out of the car. You fucking kids, and then they're trying to chase us. So they got to hop a fence. We're laughing, and we just bolt, right? Like they can't catch us. We're too small and too quick. So one guy gets hit, drives all the way around. He was fucking mysterious. He was smart. He figured out like where the houses were. So we're chucking him, we're laughing, and all of a sudden we just feel the hands on the back of our shoulders. One kid, I shit you not, this kid is a little... He's so quick and agile. Drops down to the ground, throws his arms in the air so that he just falls out of his shirt. And as he falls out, he rolls backwards down like the little hill that we're on, runs, jumps like 3 fucking fences. And that guy just stood there with his shirt in his hand like, well, fuck, he's not even mad. He's not angry.
Like a little feral snake shedding its skin. It's beautiful.
Is that snake
That's
eye?
exactly what it was. It was way worse. It was a lizard, ripping its own tail off to get away.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's got a few of us, right? Like he's not letting go. So he's got. Remember the kid I told, the crack house, the paper bag kid, paper bag invitations. Robbie lives at the crack house, so you can imagine what happens. He brings him over to the crack house. First of all, big eye opener for him to knock on a crack house door. Have these big ass bikers answer, and you could see his tone was certainly different. Yeah. He was
your kid threw a rock. How big was the rock?
You've been touching my rocks.
No, literally, it was just like, as soon as he answers the door, like, I'd like to bring it to your attention, if I may. Lovely home. I like everything you're doing here.
Here's your son's shirt.
This guy's just... Yeah, I know this is another kid. So he tells the kid, this guy obviously doesn't like any, look, I don't think people who sell crack out of their house love unwanted attention. Yeah. So right at the doorstep, just starts knocking the shit out of this kid, right? Like, what the fuck? Bop, 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 bop. This is clearly a new experience for this man. He's not from our neighborhood. And so now he's walking, oh, and the door just shuts. There's no goodbye, no, so that's it. It's over now for him. And he's like, okay, all right, well, where's the next person? And my friend rats me out right away. He's like, well, yeah, his is over there. And I'm like, motherfucker, yours is even closer. So at this point, and so he's about to knock on the back door, and my friend's like eyeballing me, like, do something, like anything. And I'm panicked too. So I know... I got very good at like the whole fake cry on command kind of thing, and I just wailed. I would admit it if this was real, but I was like, I gotta try something. I was like, and he's like, whoa, what's wrong? I was like, he beats me. You don't understand. I'm gonna get beaten for this. I'm so sorry. And he's like, okay, stop. Like, shh, stop. And so he stopped. He's like, and
he
okay,
believes
look.
it too. You just had the crack.
100%. This is
amazing.
not. Yeah, he just watched a kid get the shit wailed out of him. So. And so he's like, okay, all right, you know what, guys, this guy's had enough. He's like, this was not the way he saw this going down when he drove around the neighborhood.
I just would like a little comeuppance. I mean, I had a fucking rock thrown at my windshield, but I just wanted a little comeuppance. I didn't want to get kids killed.
100%. He's definitely, at this point, he's put it together. He's looked around at the neighborhood. He's not getting any retribution. There's no money coming his way to fix his car. So he's like, okay, he's very Louis C.K. at this point. Like, just fucking knock it off. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, sir. Please. Okay, I won't do it anymore. He drives away and we start laughing. What do we do? Right back to the backyard. New batch of fucking dirt bombs. Guess who pops out of the forest? No Shirt Kid. He's got a whole good batch that he's been saving up that he found in the bushes, and away we go again.
It would be great, like the first rock you throw hits the same guy driving away.
Robbie, however, was done for the night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So anyway, that was like almost nightly. Like, and yeah, that turned into I'll save it for another one, but just as a quick example, we used to play, you know, when people do the whole victim thing. I don't know if this is a real thing or if I've just imagined that it is.
I think I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
We used to lie down in the middle of this busy road, fucking insanity, and make people stop their car.
Yeah.
And be like, oh my God, what's wrong? And then we would get up and be like, yeah, fuck you, I'm fine, and then run away.
Yeah, we did that all the time.
Crying for attention.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like, please be my parent, I think was what we called that game.
But we did the thing where like we'd get one victim and like they would pretend to like be beating on him like while he was on the ground.
Yes, that's what we
just
exactly.
completely kicking the shit out. And then just
how does everyone know this game? This is so weird.
Yeah, then just like, you know, totally joke on the Good Samaritan who's comes screaming to us.
Oh, you're so stupid. You tried to help.
Yeah, you're stupid.
That'll learn you, you fucking idiot.
You know what else we did? We did something very similar, Keith, in to your first story, which was we would take. Now, let me preface this story by saying I'm not going to reveal how old I was when we did this. But we would play. Do you remember the game, or have you ever heard of the game Invisible Rope?
I've seen this recently.
We would get two people on the side of the road.
Right.
And they're just
we played this at your dinner party last week.
And like we could play till like dusk or whatever, and this was the best time to play Invisible Rope when it was just starting to get a little dark or whatever. So car would come down the road, and then all of a sudden we'd like pretend that we were tugging on an invisible rope, and the car would come to a stop, and then when nothing happened, we'd all run off, and hilarity ensued, right?
Keith would throw a rock at the windshield.
But we played it. We played a little. Well, that got boring after a while, so we started playing Invisible Rope with like a real rope. So like fishing line.
I think you missed the point of the game.
So we'd get.
I hope this turns into like The Boy Who Cried Wolf, and these cars are not stopping anymore.
So this is the scenario. We're like, okay, well, let's get some fishing line out of your dad's toolbox. Yeah, great idea. Right. Whatever. And let's tie it to two cans. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, great idea. Where are we gonna get cans? Well, let's chug a couple of your dad's beers. Right. So we're sitting drinking this guy's dad's beers and then tying fishing line to a couple cans. And then we playing Invisible Rope. Well, then, you know, eventually nobody, like, people wouldn't stop, right? People were like, Invisible Rope. Well, you know, whatever, sucker bitches. It's not an invisible rope. And they'd be like lugging cans down the road, like after. And they get all caught up in their tires and shit. We just fucking laugh.
Can you imagine the panic going through their mind?
Of course.
Because if I'm in that scenario, and maybe it's because I was such a piece of shit growing up that I assume kids are also just, you know, have evolved to even worse. I would be thinking it was like a Mad Max scenario, right? Like this is just the start. Like the other kids down the road now know these can sounds. I'd be like, yeah, get that fucking car. You know what I mean?
It's pretty
Rape
good.
that man driving the car.
Yeah, this is the kid who I used to make all those weapons with.
Amazing. Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
I know. It was.
Did you guys do that too? Like the weapons thing?
Well, that was a little later, the weapons thing. But yeah, we graduated to the weapons.
That was okay. Sorry, you just made me think of that real quick.
Yeah.
It's not a big story, but we used to. My grandpa, same thing, same grandpa, lawn dart guy, really good at like woodworking and shit like that. And I would always try to hang out with him just because I was looking for any kind of fatherly figure. And he would always try to get me out of there. So anyway, one day makes me a little wooden sword, and I'm like, oh shit, like nice, you know what I mean? Like it was good too. So then I start running around, just hitting my friends with it. So then they're like, well, we gotta get some too. So my friend's dad, he's pretty good and he knows how to do it. But then like the other kids who's like, you know, they don't know how to make wood and shit. They're just grabbing anything. So eventually, you know, people are grabbing broomsticks.
You're a little asshole
Absolutely.
with a wooden sword.
Look, there's no doubt in my mind that this only took 10 minutes to turn into, we need to go to the forest and do like real Dungeons and Dragons, like just knock the like let's have wars with our real weapons now. And he's a big fuck. He's like the token big kid too. So he grabs an old bed, like what do you call it, poster from the bed, right? One of the 4 posts of an old bed frame, and he's just
Jesus, how big is this kid?
He's big. He's real fucking big, like way too big. Like you thought he would die at 35 big. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he's got this 4-poster bed thing, and he's just nailed in like another flat piece of wood, and he's calling it his hammer. And this fucking kid is swinging this at us. So after that, my little wood sword that my grandpa's making me, it's shattered, right? Like it's not holding up to this thing, and everybody else now is just upgraded to like homemade nunchucks and everything. With like we used to go to the White Rose gardening store and take our broom handles, cut them in half, fucking making the chains, and then that's it. Your moms are freaking out because they can't find the goddamn broom.
Oh, my craftsmanship.
Here's the best part. I'm tired. I'm fucking sick of this. This kid is knocking the shit out of everyone. And so at that time, my cousin had given me his old like bow and arrow set. And it's like a proper bow and arrow, not like, you know, like a Canadian style, like a big, like, you know, long bow or whatever. But I have real arrows. I'm like, well, I'm not fucking stupid. I'm not about to shoot these kids with arrows, but I want to be an archer in this game now. And so I take off the ends, and much like the sock wars, I'm like, okay, so I get like a sock, and I put like 2 socks in there, and first I tie that around and stuff, and I'm shooting it at my brother to test it out, and it's like gauge of pain, like, can I use this or can't I?
Right.
You know, and eventually settle on like 2 or 3 socks for each arrow seems to be okay. And so the game would always start with like, 3, 2, everybody gets 5 seconds to run away, pick your spot, and then the battle starts. Started off, he's swinging away, knocking little kids over and fucking knocking teeth out and shit. And I run. I get to a clearing. First arrow, I pull back way far. Like, I mean, I'm realizing now that I tested on my brother, like, you know, you just little shot, like, fuck yeah, that hurts, you know? I was full torque on this thing. Shoot it right in the side of his fucking neck. And he just does that sound, you know, that, you know, and he just drops.
This wasn't the
And I was
Londar
like,
kid,
oh
was
my
it?
God. No, totally different kid. This is years later. That would have been fucking amazing if he just showed up with lawn darts, started raining them down. So I hit this kid in the neck, and he drops instantly. Like, I thought I actually killed him. And then, but do you think I went over to check? No, I cheered. Everyone around me cheered because I took down the giant. Then that was it. I just unleashed, and I just started shooting arrows all over the place. Next week, did I try and light the socks on fire and shoot them at my friends? I sure did. After that, we kind of this game was getting a little ridiculous at that point. So
the kid got up.
Yeah, he did eventually get up. Yeah, he wasn't dead.
All right, that's
but
good.
he was very, like, he had a goiter on the side of his fucking neck.
In our little townhouse area, we had like this field right beside our all of our homes, and like all the kids, we'd play like just random awful baseball where we'd like kick each other while we were walking by first base.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
It was great.
Yeah,
And
baseball.
but I remember one summer got really bad where like if you played left field, there was a road going on, and that's kind of like the road was like, it was kind of like going to Fenway Park where the road was like the home run. So we're all done school, and like at 2 p.m. this guy just full on rams his car into left field. Luckily enough, there's a ditch right before.
Okay.
There's
Was he
a ditch
dragging
right.
cans?
He might have been,
He lost control.
but he literally almost hit. He literally almost hit my buddy who was out there playing. He's like,
Yeah, that's why I wasn't sure if this story was going. Did he kill a kid?
But like we'd seen it before, so like I think we almost started developing the sixth sense. We're like, while you're playing left field, you kind of have to be aware of like somebody like
drunk drivers.
Inevitably there's going to be a DUI on this road. It was just like it was a bad part of town, and like there was,
oh my god,
yeah, like so like it wasn't. And so this guy legit stumbles out. His car is full on its side, and I don't know what it took him to like look at a bunch of 11-year-olds and be like, guys, come over here, and like he's literally like it's an adult still, right? So he's telling.
Is this going to end with him asking you how much a house is worth?
And no, but he did ask a bunch of us to try to lift his car out of the ditch.
Oh my god, amazing!
So like he knew he had a limited amount of time. There was only about 5 minutes before the cop showed up.
He's running he's fighting the clock.
And so like he's clearly drunk, and so I'm stupid, so I'm one of the two kids that I think actually tries to help him push his car out, and he got in and started like shoving, like the asphalt starts hitting us, like, all right, fuck it, no, we're done. And so the cops show up, and we had to like all of us like had to go like to court like 3 months later and like testify that the guy was driving the DUI. But it wasn't.
It's a fun summer.
It was always good. Like, yeah, there was a motorbike accident, and like cars would hit each other while they were out there, and we'd just keep playing on.
Yeah, you reminded me of all these things I used to build. I completely forgot. I made this bow and arrow, not quite like yours. It was a mini one. I used chopsticks. But do you remember chopsticks in the 80s? They weren't the cheap takeaway ones they are now. Like this was thick. Right. It was like a pool cue.
Yeah.
So I had this elastic strapped to this one, and I go to fire it.
How big was the bowl?
It's the same size, but it's just made like of thick, like strong wood. So I just
I remember this.
It was a very simple design. I just had an elastic on one of them, and then I went to shoot the other one. So I was maybe 20 feet. I was upstairs, like 20 feet away from that. I'm like, let's just test this thing out. I launch it. It goes flying straight as an arrow, and it went 3 feet or nothing. It went 3 inches into the drywall.
Holy fuck!
Oh shit! This is amazing. It made a loud noise too, but my dad didn't hear. He's watching TV. Knows the theme. So this is above the stairs, like you know how above stairs, like there's this huge wall up there, like like it's kind of the straight wall that's going up to match the height of the second floor.
Right.
So I'm like, oh shit, I got to get this out. So I'm literally standing on top of the banister, this wobbly banister, outstretched as far as I could to try and pull this arrow out of the wall, which I somehow managed to do. I was probably stretched like 6 feet while I was only 4 feet at the time. And that'd
be terrifying to see your kid doing that now.
That hole probably lasted years. And finally, my dad's like, "Where'd that come from?" Like I have no idea. That's so weird. Let me show you this thing I made.
I never had any drywall incidents, but I went through probably a half dozen closets. Like just just we had a closet at the bottom of our stairs, and there's about 12 steps up to the second floor there, and I would bail all the time, and just barrel roll down and just smash myself through that closet.
Did anyone else ever try to dig to China?
Probably. I probably said something horrific to whatever Chinese kid was around, let's get you home or something.
I was friends with a Chinese kid, so we're in his backyard. I'm like, hey, let's go to China. He's like,
I hope it wasn't the year of the rabbit.
No. This is before my problems.
But he's the one who put it on you. Cursed.
We weren't that bright because we started on a hill.
Well, if you were digging to China, you weren't that bright to begin with.
That's true.
You were digging a hill. Amazing. Oh, what about forts? Did you guys do the whole fort thing in the summer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, did you guys, we used to just raid the construction sites. Like, I assumed that's what everybody did, but I found out later that nobody else, good people didn't do that. I thought that was just common practice.
No, we just used to...
when they ordered supplies, it was just common for them to order a few more pieces for the local kids.
We just used to raid the homeless people's stuff in the forest. Hey, listen, it was in the afternoon. They were all out trying to find jobs.
Right. They don't need this. Do you know how many homeless people you probably killed? Because when they got back, they would think that, Hobo Jimmy stole his fucking bunker, and he went over and shanked him with the bottle. You killed people.
Indirectly.
Yeah, that's all you ever have to say is just indirectly, and it's fine.
You said that so coldly, Bob.
Yeah.
What
Your Honor, if I may, indirectly.
Case closed.
Yes, sir.
I indirectly
no
killed
more questions. Did you guys used to? Were you aiming for the Streetlight, Dave? When you were shooting at it with your BB gun?
Yeah, I was aiming for the streetlight or like the telephone pole, like just trying to hit the middle of it. I was good at it, but yeah.
Yeah, so was that common? Because we used to do that all the time. We would take the big rocks and try and throw them up at the street lights.
I guess so. Like your parents were giving you targets, and your friends didn't really want to play catch. So like when you were a shit kid, like you picked up rocks and threw them and tried to hit things. Like
yeah,
and like I guess if you had a gun, you're trying to hit the middle of something, and that was the closest thing outside my window. Instead of going out to a forest and setting up a target, I just put my gun out my window and shot at a telephone pole across a busy street.
That's the crazy thing. So that's getting to my next point. Now, we did not have a gun. We just had the rocks that we were either throwing at the cars or at this street light to try and take it out. Because it was fun for us to have to watch the town come and replace the light. So we're missing like crazy, and we're being very loud. You know, a couple of the older people are like, stop it. You know, they're sick of seeing the fucking town people come out and replace it. Finally, biker family across the road comes out. He's like, hey, what are you guys doing? And we're so stupid. We're not trying to hide it. We're like, oh, we're trying to hit this light. He's like, fucking kids. Goes back inside. We think he's just like done with us. Comes out with a goddamn pistol, aims at it. Ping, 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 ping. Not a pellet gun. This is a real fucking gun. He just thinks it's going to be fun. He's going to impress the local kids. He starts firing his fucking little, whatever it is, 9mm or whatever. And he fucking smashes the light and we go crazy. We're like, yeah, he's the coolest. Like those bullets came down in a neighborhood somewhere. This is not like we didn't live in the sticks. This was a little town. Like, I think he fired like 3 shots off. And no cops came.
Nobody called
we
it
stayed
in.
out for a long time. No. Well, nobody in my neighborhood is gonna call it in on them. But
cops are also tired of getting hit by rocks.
Yeah, that same guy that fucking I threw the rock at, bullet goes through his window. I think we've held off. Derek, please cut to the later years.
Can I before I do that, can I tell my Nintendo story?
Please.
Because I wasn't here for that one. And Bob kind of reminded me of it, like spending the summers playing Nintendo. So I'm playing with my buddy. He's my next door neighbor. We're always kind of competitive. We always played sports outside or whatever. So this time we're playing Blades of Steel in the basement. And this is I don't know when that was. This is probably like starting to hit puberty or whatever. So we're like.
Sure.
Like, just kind of... just
like 1990, 91, somewhere around there, I'm guessing.
So we're playing Blades of Steel, and that was the first one. You mentioned it on the podcast before. That's the first one we were talking, like, Blades of Steel.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah, that would have been way before 91. Yeah, keep going.
Well, this is awesome. So I'm just playing with my buddy, and I'm just crushing him. I'm scoring left, right. Just can't stop. You can't stop me. Can't do anything. So I do one more little, like, one-timer or wraparound goal, and I score. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And he just goes, oh, I'm so fucking horny. And it kind of caught me off guard for a second.
It's an odd reaction.
So I'm like yeah, that was a good goal, wasn't it? Wait, what?
Completely ignore it.
Like, that was a good goal. So, I'm so fucking horny. And I'm like, you need to leave.
That's right.
Like, we're playing Blades of Steel. What's turning you on right now? The voice? Blades of Steel.
Here's the kicker, is that he was thinking he was so horny well before that. And wondering how he should broach the conversation.
Either that or he's just so sick of losing. It's like the guy who just takes all his clothes off before a fight, because that's going to fuck you up. You know what I mean? That guy might not be willing to go to your level. So if he says, I'm horny, and pulls his dick out, he might be able to score a couple goals.
I think he was just really supportive, and every time I scored, it just really turned him on.
Just got him horny.
So the rest,
amazing.
So the rest of that summer was a little awkward. We didn't play Blades of Steel much after that.
That's fantastic. You know what I'd love to do? I'd love to do a Where Are They Now? Like based on this podcast, find everybody. I'll find the lawn dart kid. Derek, you get the horny kid.
Or you can dig up a dead
find
rabbit.
that drunk dude. Let's do it. Find the rabbits. Okay.
I think he was legit horny. He had like 5 kids with like 4 different women.
That summer.
Dude loves hockey.
He's just banging her blades of steel.
You like that, Derek? You score on me, Derek?
Fight!
All the girls look like Derek.
Every child is out of spite for me.
Okay. We've teased this. We've waited. Derek, please. Rabbit story part 2.
Hop to it.
If you really want to bookend this podcast on misery, I'll do it.
Yes, please.
We're all ears.
So this is a more recent story. This is probably, I don't know, 3 to 4 years ago, maybe. You
don't have to split hairs. Just
in my current house now.
That's the worst one.
That was
awful. That was worse than a bunny's head engulfed with blood. Okay, so in my house now, I had a dog at the time, but we had to run, so he's kind of contained to one side of my yard. Or I don't know, the gate was open for some reason. So I go to close it in the morning, and as I go to close it, I look down, and I just see what can only be described as like rabbit D-Day, like just body parts everywhere. So what I can only imagine, I don't know what got these bunnies. I think it must have been coyotes or some angry raccoon or something, but something just apparently right behind my fireplace. I guess they had made a nest there, which they like to do around me apparently.
Thank you, Derek.
Keep going.
Evidently, it's still my fault because I left the gate open and let this coyote in.
Derek, do you have any milk?
So I just... So there is, like, I can barely recognize these as bunnies at this point. There's just a pair of legs over there.
Just blood everywhere in your backyard.
Like, these things have just been ripped in half. Like, something just did this, like, specifically out of spite. Just kind of bit the head through one section.
It looks like the elevator in The Shining in Derek's backyard.
Yeah, it was just this fucking massacre. Like, something bad went down.
Oh, my God.
And I have kids now, and I didn't want them to come home and see this. So I'm like, oh, shit, I got to...
Well, you know the lasting effects this has on them.
Exactly. I know firsthand. So I told my wife,
so you're
like,
calling in sick to work,
whatever you do, don't let the kids in the backyard. I need to do something about this.
You go watch TV.
Why are you grabbing your shovel, Derek?
I go watch TV and I tell my daughter to deal with it. Well, I'm just erasing D-Day from my backyard right now with a shovel. One scoop
Derek's
at a
the
time.
cleaner.
The saddest ice cream shop in the world. There's one scoop, legs, 2 scoops, ears. And the whole time I'm doing this, I'm putting these body parts in a bag. I can only assume this is the mother bunny across the yard just staring at me, watching me
Oh, no.
put these pieces in a bag with just the saddest eyes I've ever seen in my life. Just, why are you doing that to my children? I said to the bunny, I'm like, I'm sorry. It wasn't me. Sure, I may have left the gate open, but I had no intentions of this. I didn't know you were here.
Okay, all joking aside, is Easter, like, bad for you? Like, do you hate Easter?
I think I've separated it enough. I don't have a lot of bunnies around. I don't, especially chocolate.
Have your daughters asked for, like, a pet bunny or anything?
They have. I'm allergic.
Yeah, you are.
I'm also,
Yes,
I'm not a
you
fan
are.
I'm not a fan of chocolate bunnies that have like an oversized cartoon head.
Oh my God, that would be crazy too, because the kids at school around Easter time would bring their Easter bunny chocolates and they would start biting off the top part because they look, I like to bite the ears off first.
This one's filled with jam.
This one's milk chocolate.
I like to line up these 6 little ones while I eat the big one.
This is supposed to be a comedy podcast. I feel guilty now when I hit, like, this is for the funny ones. Derek, anything else to add to that?
I think it's for everyone's sake I should stop.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us this week. I hope you sort of enjoyed something. I doubt it, but I hope so. Yeah, we'll do what we can, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Little bunny foo-foo sleeping in the backyard till Derek grabs a shovel, lops off half your head. Derek, you're a monster. No, that's not a rock, sir. Please don't give us cow's milk. It makes our tummies bleed. It makes our tummies bleed.